coming up. Separate interviews with two legends behind one of the most truthful and compelling songs of the entire rock era. It's a song that's changed so many people's lives, including my own, with a message that's so life-affirming and so real. It should be required listening. It's just universal. One of the most important parts of the song, actually, was written improv when this legendary singer was recording it. Just right there. They needed a verse, and he sang what came into his head on the spot. It tied the whole song together. Such a compelling story coming up next. You have to hear it. I'm Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies. Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time, especially today. You know, if you remember the hilarious exploits of Charlie Brown and Peanuts, Garfield and Odie, and the Far Side in the Daily Comics page growing up, you're gonna dig this channel of deep musical nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe right now. Click the big red button to get the story straight from the legends. Click the bell so you always know when our stuff's hitting. Also, take a look at our Patreon where we're releasing full interviews there, and that helps us keep it a daily channel. So I'm really excited to bring you another episode from our series, Revelations. This is where featured artists go extremely deep on their greatest songs and their greatest albums. Truly stories you won't get anywhere else. And man, today I am really excited to share today's interviews. Two legendary songwriters who also have had their own solo careers. One is with Mike Campbell, who co-wrote, produced, and played guitar in the Heartbreakers. I mean, he was Tom Petty's right-hand man, co-writing so many classics, Refugee, Running Down a Dream, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, just to name a few. He also produced their signature sound on so many amazing records, just classics. And then the other is with J.D. Souther, who has had his own massive hit with You're Only Lonely. You're only lonely. But he also co-wrote many of the Eagles' greatest hits, from Heartache Tonight. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, a heartache tonight. To New Kid in Town. The New Kid in Town. To Best of My Love. To give me the best of your love. All three #1 hits. They came together with Eagle Don Henley at the end of the 80s to combine on a song for his 1989 classic solo record, The End of the Innocence. I'm telling you, this is one of the best albums ever. This song is the heart-wrenching life lesson, The Heart of the Matter. Even if you don't love me anymore. Mike Campbell, of course, worked with Don Henley a few years previous on his top 5 solo smash, The Boys of Summer. Building the Perfect Beast. This song is about a man who hears it through the grapevine that his former lover started a relationship with somebody else. Something that both Don Henley and J.D. Souther knew a lot about, as it was exactly what was going on with the two of them in their personal lives at the moment. They had both broken up with their fiancés. They'd both been engaged like a year and a half before the song was created. And so it came from a very real place. This is so great. Up next, 2 interviews that I did with JD and with Mike about this song and the process of writing such a vulnerable and personal song. So let's get right into it. As we do, I do want to recognize our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the brand of glasses I always wear. Zenni is really amazing because you can design your own pair of glasses, what looks great on you, and you can do a virtual try-on at their website before you purchase to see exactly how you look. You can add other amazing features and get all this for up to 80% off regular retail prices. Just click on the link down here or on our info button right up here to get the best deal. Here are JD and Mike on The Heart of the Matter. Let's talk about another one of the greatest songs of all time that I think will last forever. A song really about forgiveness, The Heart of the Matter, written with Don and the great J.D. Souther. I got the call today, didn't want to hear. And produced with Don and Danny Korchmar. How did it come to you?
It was first thing in the morning. I crawled out of bed and I had a guitar. And I liked this chord, which I learned from Bob Dylan. And so I just mindlessly went, hit that chord, and that was it. that's a good sketch. And then I took it in the studio and fleshed it out a little bit. It's pretty simple musically too. It just, 3 or 4 chords.
About a year ago, they asked me what I consider to be the 10 greatest songs of all time, personally, for me. And in my top 5 was The Heart of the Matter.
Thank you.
It's one of the most beautiful songs. I've shown it to my kids and said, this is a song for your life. And you may not know what this song means right now, but trust me, it will connect with you, and it will mean everything very, very shortly.
What are these voices outside love's open door?
It's a really strong lyric. Don really came through on that one. And I heard that song once at the Forum when I went to see Don on a solo tour, and he did that song, and the whole Forum sang along. And it kind of brought me to tears. It was so beautiful. It's such a beautiful lyric about forgiveness, And I think he said to me, it took me 20 years to mature enough to write those lyrics. But it's very true. Once again, the truth, shines through.
How did you come back together with Don on that one? Because it was his third record.
I think I got a phone call. Do you have any music? And I had that demo. And I don't think I showed that to Tom because we were deep into other stuff at the time. So I just sent that over to Don, and he liked it. So it all starts with the phone call.
That's right. I know that he again changed the key to fit his voice. Isn't that right?
So it started out in C, it ended up in D. And I remember the opening, clang, 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 clang. I used an old Gretsch guitar, and I remember telling the engineer, I want this to sound like the parting of the Red Sea, because it comes on all by itself, and that's what I want you to create with the sound. And I think he did it.
I didn't know that.
Well, I just remembered that the other day, so I thought I'd share that with you.
You both went in and basically recreated the demo. What was your first reaction when you heard Don's lyrics?
Well, I'm always just kind of stunned. Like, it's just such a compliment, because when you write any kind of music or any kind of art, you're always hoping to inspire somebody, or that they're going to like it, or it's going to make them feel a certain way. When you have this piece of little baby that you created, and you give it to them, and they listen to it, and they come back and give it to you and enhance it so much beyond what you could have done. It's a very spiritual feeling. It's a lot of a very loving, a gracious feeling, and almost it's very emotional actually when it's that good.
Talked to Mike Campbell about it, and he got pretty vulnerable about it. He said it was like somebody else wrote it and gave it to me as a gift.
Yeah. It's funny. I said the same when Don first played it to me. I said the same thing. I don't think Don didn't take it the way I meant it, but I meant it as a compliment. I said, Jesus, this guy's been reading my mail. Exactly the song I would like to write. The shape of this song, the musical shape, the different sections, the melodic possibilities that you have with this.
And I thought you was scattered, but I think it's about forgiveness.
A couple nights at his house, a couple nights at my house, some other nights. And it still didn't, it seemed to me like there was still a lot of holes in it. And it was mostly that second verse, which he mostly came up with in the vocal booth.
Trust and self-assurance that lead to happiness.
That incredibly smart and prescient second verse, which is probably more prescient now than it was even then.
That blows my mind that he came up with some of that just in the booth. Improv.
I think so. I don't remember seeing all of that second verse written down before he went upstairs to sing it in the vocal booth. But it's just brilliant. I think that second verse is one of the best verses I've ever heard in the song.
These times are so uncertain.
That's actually where most of the wisdom is that second verse.
It's an astonishing verse. I sing it every night now almost. And I didn't sing it for years, and I don't know. One night I just thought, why wouldn't I sing this? I think I know it.
We all need a little tenderness.
How can love survive in such a graceless age?
Exactly.
How can love survive in such a graceless age?
The trust and self-assurance that lead to happiness are the very things we kill, I guess.
They're the very things we kill, I guess.
Pride and Competition. I mean, he did. He nailed it. And it is a song that we need right now more than ever.
Pride and competition cannot fill these empty arms.
I loved what Don always said about it. It took about 40 years to live and about a couple minutes to write down, or a couple minutes to record, or something like that. Because it's so true. I mean, the bridge in it is so powerful. You know, there are people in your life who have come and gone. They let you down. They hurt your pride. You got to leave it all behind you because life goes on. You keep carrying that anger.
It'll eat you up inside. What a great line. Yeah.
Carrying that anger, it'll eat you up inside, baby.
Who can't relate to that? I mean,
I know.
And truthfully, forgiveness is a powerful thing. And the way he got that into a song was pure genius.
Yeah, and talking about an old relationship, he heard a name, came up, he thought about it. It just puts, and that's why people relate to it so much, because it's something that people can put themselves right into that song, and it speaks to their heart and soul.
Yeah, that's really a gift when you connect with people. Right, and Tom was real good at that too. Simple words that a lot of people can go, that's me. I know how that feels, and it's kind of mysterious. Almost, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. I love this song. When I was a kid, I remember my dad bought the end of the Innocence the day it came out, about the cassette. Listened to it in the truck, and now those are great memories because he's passed on. But I remember hearing this song and I liked it, and I thought this is an important song, but it didn't really resonate with me until my 40s, actually, my early 40s, where I really understood it.
There's this adolescent in you that you'd like to keep alive for as long as possible. But you have children, you have to separate yourself a little bit from that adolescent in order to help your adolescent child mature. But I sort of feel like the protracted adolescence is just one of the it's one of the tag-alongs to show business, to a life in show business. You're going to be a little kid in some way for as long as you do it. And as a matter of fact, if you weren't, you probably wouldn't be successful at it, because all of this, even the stuff that we do, is a game of make-believe.
All the things I thought I'd figured out, I have to learn again.
It's nice to have the make-believe feel so real that you can taste the blood, but it is make-believe. We are making the shit up. So Paul Williamson, my little buddy Paul, is one of my best friends, and we always say this: "Can you believe it? We had this whole life, these great lives, just by making shit up."
The heart of the matter, it feels like a song that wasn't made up. It feels like it, and like you said, if you even read my mail, I mean, I think that's what everybody feels about this song.
I think the way everybody feels about any song that really resonates. I think. New Kid in Town was the same way. There were a lot of people like us that were just about to hit their 30s and going, shit, we're not exactly little kids anymore.
But after a while, you're looking the other way.
New Kid in Town was a turning point of some kind. I don't know what exactly. You can never assess your own work very well, but it seemed like a turning point of some kind.
Well, I was always curious how you came into the heart of the matter. I mean, I've read several different accounts of it, but
Don just came over and played it for me. He said, I got to play you this thing Mike just sent me. It's amazing. And he came over to my old studio and played it. And he just said, man, if we don't write a hit to this, we're not worth our salt, because this is a great track. And it was. And we did, luckily. So.
I've been trying to get down to the heart of the matter.
It does kind of harken back, at least the sound of it, to that 60s 12-string, folky, but also, rock and roll. Anyway.
I think that's just kind of how Mike hears music.
Well, the arrangement, you played keyboards and guitars according to the liner notes, and those great background vocals. I believe it was Carmen Twilley and Julia and Maxine Waters.
That was all Don's idea. Yeah, all the background gospel kind of vocals was all his idea.
The less I understand all the things I thought I knew.
It sounded like Mike Campbell. And it sounded like Mike Campbell and Don. First time I heard it, I just thought, wow, how great.
What's your take on this song decades later?
Well, it holds up. It's a universal theme. It's funny, a song like that, you go through your life and there's times when you need forgiveness or you need to give forgiveness. And it comes up through your whole life, you know. And sometimes I won't hear that song for 5 years and it'll pop on the radio right when I'm feeling some kind of forgiveness issue in my life. I'm like, oh God, what a great song, you know. That was really well done. And because it lives on and it connects, you know, with the truth with people, you know, forgiveness, you know, like, you know, don't be so miserable. Like, you know, forgive and forget and get on and be happy. You know, it's like, that's the punchline. There's hope and redemption in that song.
Thinking about forgiveness.
It's just got a feel to it. You know, it's a spiritual accident, musical accident that turned into something that people relate to. It's a beautiful thing. What can I say? You know, I get a little gushy about it, but I'm very proud. I feel so blessed, you know. It sounds corny, but I really do feel blessed when I hear stuff like that on the radio now.
That song has changed so many lives. I mean, even just in my own circle, in sending that song to people who are having a rough time, I've said, like, listen to the second verse and the bridge of this song. Because the bridge, when he says there are people in your life who've come and gone, they let you down, hurt your pride, you better put it all behind you because life goes on. You keep carrying that anger. I mean, he's talking about letting the bitterness go.
Yes.
That holds so many people hostage.
You keep carrying that anger. It'll eat you up inside.
Because it will eat you up inside.
And I always loved that ending when he said the flesh will get weak and the ashes will scatter.
Ashes will scatter, yeah. And they will.
The flesh will get weak. And the ashes will scatter.
There's another really touching line, the chorus before that. He says, but my will gets weak and my friends seem to scatter.
Everything changes. And my friends seem to scatter, but I think
That one was mine. And also, it was his idea to sing that forgiveness line, the chorus, the forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
It's about forgiveness. Very important. And we had both just got, within the last few months, had both just had very sad breakups in relationships. So it was a ripe topic.
For my money, that's one of the greatest albums of the 80s.
Really good album.
Don Henley he's just one of the greatest ever.
He's a very good writer, very thoughtful writer, and very critical writer, too.
Well, he's one of those writers, isn't he, who really can create a character. You know, that song and Boys of Summer Too, they're like movies, you know, they're like films. There's characters that you can see it, you know, in your mind as the music goes by. It's like there's visual undertones to it, and he's real good at that.
The more I know, the less I understand.
They weren't very friendly writing sessions, to tell you the truth. It wasn't like a kumbaya, aren't we great? Because we were really each guy was always out to have the best line. That's what you do, that kind of friendship, you know, is you try to one up the other guy. Because it served the needs of the group.
And trying to get down to the heart of the matter.
Much appreciated, and it was a great interview. You asked really good questions, a lot deeper than I usually go, but I was really enjoyable, so thank you.
So as I mentioned at the beginning of this is such a personal song for me. It's one of my favorite songs ever, and one that I've shared with those closest to me, including my own kids. It's an important principle, forgiveness, one that we've all had to deal with. Just like the lyrics say, if you don't forgive, the bitterness will eat you up inside. Personally, I've had a couple of situations in my life where I've been deeply hurt and battled for months with letting it go and embracing forgiveness. And this song, along with Conviction of the Heart by Kenny Loggins, another great song, both these songs helped me to heal and to forgive. In fact, several years ago, a horrible event happened in my family. You know, one of my children was hurt in an almost irreparable way. I didn't know how I was going to get through this trial. I didn't know how I was going to forgive. It took 2 years of deep therapy and prayer to get to a place where I could truly forgive this person. And this song was one of the most important catalysts to help me to get to the other side of a very dark time, probably the darkest time of my life. It's a very important song for our lives. It's a very important album for life, The End of the Innocence. I'm grateful for Don, JD, and Mike for writing such a universal truth And yeah, I'm grateful to my own dad for showing me this song and explaining its importance to me. I remember, he bought this album the day it came out. It was on cassette. We were driving around in his pickup. I remember his exact words to me. He said, "This is not a song, Adam. This is a principle to live your life by. Trust me." I took his advice that day, and it continues to be a guidepost for me so many years later. What about you? Do you remember this song? Leave us a comment about this it's a masterpiece. So much integrity in this song. What are your memories or experiences with this song? And also check out J.D. Souther and Mike Campbell, their projects that they've done. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs and J.D. Souther, his last couple albums. These are great artists that you need to, in fact, I'll link to their albums where you can get them. And make sure to share in the comments about this song, about these great artists. What else would you like to see in the future? Make sure to subscribe below if you want to be part of our community. We would love to have you. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth.